Hello there, Pisces. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly video tarot forecast in depth. This is for the month of March, and what I'm doing is I'm breaking down this video into two sections. The first section is going to be March the 1st through the 14th. After that, we'll look at March the 15th through the 31st. So, for those of you who are Pisces, sun sign, moon sign, rising sign, this video is for you. For those of you who are cross-watching because you're interested in seeing information about a Pisces that you care about, you are welcome to be here. Thank you for being here. But there is something that you should know, and that is that on this channel, energies are not reversible. So if you want to find a video that's about you, then you want to check out the video on your sun sign, rising sign, or moon sign, or whatever combination thereof works for you. So let's get started with your environment, Pisces. So environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. For most people, it's home, but sometimes it does show up in other places as well. So you want to kind of keep your mind open as we're looking at this. It does look, Pisces, like you are very comfortable in your home. There's something going on, though, where you're waiting on somebody else to make some kind of decision that has to do with your environment. And did I say home? Do you think maybe your environment, we might be talking about home for most of you, just the fact that I said that? So yeah, so waiting for some type of decision that has to do with your home environment, Pisces. Next, let's look at your subconscious leanings. Subconscious leanings for Pisces. So it looks to me like you're feeling really inspired about an idea. There's something that you want to move forward with and make more than an idea. The problem that I'm seeing here is that you're having to wait on somebody else to put in their 2 cents worth on this idea. And I think that you are waiting. It looks like this is something that the idea that you're inspired about is something that would take effort from you and from somebody else to actually get it off the ground. And so I think that's why you're waiting to see. And I think in your subconscious, you're trying to work out, okay, what are they going to say? When are they going to answer? Why are we waiting? What's going on there? Okay. Now, next thing, Pisces, that we have talks to me about your learning style and also your communication style during this particular time frame. It does look like whatever you're learning during this time frame is something that you are definitely intent on finding out. You're not learning something just because somebody else wants you to. This is because this is something that you want to know for yourself. I think that what you want to learn about is something that has been a little bit confusing or a little bit vague to you up until now, and so you're looking to really fine-tune and focus in on all the details of whatever this thing is. You want to be seen as somebody with wisdom around this. Now, as far as your communication style, I do think there are certain people within your sphere of influence that when you communicate, you're always trying to make sure that you're telling them the highlights, the good stuff. Maybe leave out the bad stuff. Just give them something good to focus on whenever you're communicating with them. I do think also that there is somebody that you're giving some advice to as far as communication style during this time frame. You may be seeing some red flags in something going along in their life, and you may be telling them about that. For others of you, though, I think that this is kind of a reversed thing. So basically, we've got two messages. One is going to apply to some of you, and one's going to apply to the other. So for some of you, you're pointing out red flags to somebody else. But for others of you, you're noticing some things going on, and you're kind of questioning, is that normal? Or is that a red flag? Is that something I should be concerned about? Or is that normal? Because this person is saying it's normal. I don't really think it's normal. So you may be talking to a friend to try to get some perspective there. Also, as far as communication, I think that there is something going on where there is talk about adornment. Okay, so this could be garments, this could be jewelry, this could be makeup, but there's some kind of communication about adornment. For some of you, you're getting prepared to go to a special event, maybe even a wedding, and so you're talking about bridesmaids' dresses or getting the hair done or what makeup you're going to wear or shoes or whatever. But, it's not going to be about going to a wedding for all of you, but there's just some kind of communication about adornment. Let's leave it there. You guys kind of get the idea, though, from that example, what adornment might be. So the next thing that we have coming up, Pisces, talks to me about work. Work. What's happening here? You have a mix mash of energy on work. I'm not quite sure what you have going on here. Looks to me like the things that you're manifesting at work are really the things that you're afraid of or the things that you don't want to manifest. And yet we have the happiness card showing up here. And then we have a card talking about not feeling very fulfilled with work. Oh, okay. So basically what's going on is at work, you're not doing a lot of those things that actually make you feel fulfilled, that make you feel like, okay, I've got a reason for being here. I've got a reason for doing what I do. It looks like there's a lot of play going on at work. There's a lot of goofing around. And for some of you, it's very childish type of goofing around, not really focusing on accomplishing any tasks that's happening. But for others of you, there is more of, no, I'm not even going to say that I feel that. I really don't feel that. I think that this is childish play that's kind of keeping everything from getting accomplished and making you feel like, why am I wasting my time being here? I could be more productive if I was babysitting a kindergarten class. All right? Okay, Pisces. Maybe you are babysitting a kindergarten class. I don't know. All right, next thing that we're looking at, Pisces, does talk to me about that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. Oh, Pisces, it looks like you're having a hard time because you really miss somebody, and I think that you're having a hard time getting to the point that you don't miss this person anymore. I think you're really holding on to ideas about this person coming back into your life in one way or another, and I think that this is putting a lot of strain on you and a lot of stress on you because it seems to me like the most logical thing here is to accept the idea that this person is not there and sort of let yourself move forward with life. But instead, you're holding on to this idea of missing them and wishing they were there and wondering, are they going to come back? And it's keeping you from living your fullest life. It's keeping you from living up to your potential. It's really, really energy that is dragging you down here is what I'm looking at. And for this to come up as that part of you that's growing or expanding, this is telling me that this isn't getting better during this time frame. Now, why do we have videos like this? Why do we do forecasts? Why do we look at things ahead of time? Because that way, if we see something that we don't like showing up, we can make some different decisions. We have free will. So you can make my cards liars. I would love for you to make these cards liars because this just looks totally miserable to me. And my heart goes out to you. But, you want to make these cards liars by choosing to focus on something other than this other person that you're basically obsessing on. You want to choose to focus on something that can make you smile or can make you happy, not this thing that has disappeared. Okay? All right, let's move on. Next, we're going to talk about those things that you stand for. So this is something where somebody has explained or has asked you to explain something, or they've maybe even confronted you and you've had to defend a certain situation. So we're going to look at what that situation is, and then we're going to look at what the other person thinks about you after you have explained the situation to them. Okay? So when we're looking at this situation, it looks like you have the situation come up where you could have better pay, or at least a payday, if not better pay in general, but you would have to be away from home for that. And you really don't want to be away from home. You want to be at home. You don't want to spend most of your time away from home. Okay? And I'm assuming from this that you've turned down that position. You know what? I'm not even going to assume that. Maybe you're talking about it because you didn't turn it down even though you didn't want to be away from home. Not sure exactly. The cards aren't saying that. I kind of think you turned it down though. But let's look at how the other person sees you after you've explained the situation to them. It looks like this opportunity that came up, they're seeing this as an opportunity that came back from the past, that this would be going back to doing something that you had done before. And it looks to me like they see that you decided to take charge of your life and not just let circumstances lead you around. And they feel like your thought processes on deciding what to do with this situation were really good. They feel like you're actually heading some growth here, like you had an epiphany to realize that, you know what, I don't want to be away from home that much. I'm going to turn this down. Some things are more important than money. They're seeing that as an epiphany for you. And it seems to me like they're feeling like you really made a good move, like you've really acted in your own best interest here. Okay? Now, let's look next at the flex period. Now, this is the period where something changes your perception or your perspective on things, and that changes how you interact in the world, and that changes how the world interacts with you. So it really changes your trajectory. So we're going to look at what is this thing that's happening that is changing your perspective at this point in time. It looks like you're having a rough time with somebody who is jealous of you or angry at you, resentful of you. And it looks like there's a lot of communication going back and forth between you and this person. And that is what's really causing you to go through this rough time. I think it's not only the idea that this person isn't happy with you, but I think it's also the idea of it's really important to you that this person be happy with you. And it feels like nothing you can do at this point makes them happy. What do we have going on at the same time? I think that you're realizing as all this communication is going back and forth and this person's mindset and happiness level is not really changing or maybe even getting worse as this communication is going on, I think you're realizing that to try to collaborate with this person or to try to collaborate with this person again would actually be pretty toxic. And I think that you're starting to realize that this isn't really something that you're hoping for anymore. Like as this goes on, the longer this goes on, the less you're thinking that this is a good idea to collaborate with this person again. Now, what else is happening? Yeah, some of the things that this person is saying are really emotionally damaging, and I think they're really damaging your sense of self-esteem and self-worth. And I think that some of these things that this person is saying to you are really driving you back to some old things that you used to think about yourself. What I'm really picking up here, guys, is that this person that you're communicating with, that, you know, things are not going well with this person. I think that they actually helped you at one point to increase your self-worth and your self-esteem. And I think that now they know those buttons that really trip your trigger and push you off the cliff here. And so I think they're using that information that they learned when they were helping you with your self-esteem to really push that self-esteem down under. And I think that what's going on is as they do that, you are coming into this space where you're isolating from them. You're not communicating with them anymore. You're really getting to the point where you're realizing, whoa, I have to stop. I have to think about this. I have to consider my priorities. I have to consider what's happening here before I make any steps further. And so you're stepping back. You're isolating here to think about this whole situation, which is really a good move, I have to say. That's a good move, to step back and just get some objectivity on it, detach a little bit. Let's see where we see you at the end of this time frame, Pisces. So this is going to be like the 13th, 14th of March is where we're going to see this. I think you are feeling a little bit left out of the cold, or out in the cold, I guess I should say. I think you're surprised. I don't think that you expected things to come up like this, where you would end up feeling that way. And I think that, you know, you have some ideas about what you can do going forward. So I'm kind of happy to see this part about the ideas about what you can do going forward. It looks like where you were resisting saying goodbye or letting go of a situation or a person, now you're no longer. Now you're accepting that, you know what, this is not working. I think, like I said, I think you're surprised that it's not working. I think you really felt like this was something that would be able to move forward. But now that you're accepting that, okay, it's not working, you're getting some good ideas about things that you can do that you are going to enjoy as you move forward. So I'm really happy to see that. That's a good way to end a spread. So that is the first half of March, Pisces. I'm going to take a break, and when I come back, we'll look at the other half. See you soon. Thank you for being here. Okay, Pisces, we are back to look at March the 15th through the 31st for you. Let's go ahead and just start off straight up with your environment during that time frame, Pisces. Looks like you are beginning something new here, and it looks like this has to do with adding to your stability or your security. And it looks like as you're doing this, you are getting in some some bad news about money or finances. So this could be that you're doing something to upgrade your home or upgrade where you work, and then you're finding out that it's going to cost a little bit more than what you thought. That's how my first thing that comes to mind when I look at this. But doing something new around your environment to add to your security and your stability, going to cost you a little bit more money than what you thought. But then, you know, what's the surprise when you have construction going on? That's pretty much the regular way things work, isn't it? Okay, let's look at your subconscious leanings, Pisces. Okay, so it looks to me like in your subconscious you have found some relief where you were stressed out. Now you're not feeling stressed out anymore, and you found some relief with the idea of going back to something as it used to be. And it looks like you're feeling like this is really a good idea. You're feeling like going back to something as it used to be is really in alignment with who you are. And so that's what you've got going on in your subconscious at that point in time, March 15th through the 31st. Looking at learning style and also communication style. Once again, I do see you learning about things that you're interested in, not so much things that other people want you to learn about. I think that there's a lot of information that's coming in that makes you feel good, that makes you feel happy. You may even be learning, I feel like, about how to handle things energetically, how to handle certain things energetically. You're learning about basically the equivalent of pixie dust. Let's say it like that, I guess. Also, it looks to me like you're really getting to a point where you're understanding some kind of new truth about just humanity and how humanity works, what makes us tick. That's interesting. That's interesting. I think you're also learning here, it looks to me like you're learning here about somebody who I don't think that you expected this side of them, somebody who's been in your life that you're seeing them be really sharp and sarcastic and prickly, And I don't think you're used to them doing that. Actually, I would say for 50% of this is you. You kind of had thought that you had sort of gotten rid of those sharp and prickly sides of yourself, the sarcastic side of yourself, but it's showing its face. So for half of you, this is actually you, and you're surprised at yourself. But for the other half, this is somebody else that you're interacting with, and I think you're just really surprised that they can be this way, because your image of them has been, since you've known them, that they're just a sweet demeanor all the time. Looking at your communication style, I do think that you are shedding the light on a situation for somebody in your sphere of influence. I think that you are helping them to see the truth about something that they really have been at a disadvantage about seeing. Maybe somebody else kind of has been telling them tales and, wrapping those tales around their mind. I think that you're helping them really cut through the baloney and actually see the truth here. Also, as far as communication style, I think you are talking to somebody about what your goals are, what your targets are, what you're hoping to achieve in the near future and in the long future. And also, as far as communication style, I do feel like you may be giving a gift during this time frame to express to somebody how you actually feel about them. A gift, for some of you, just a card, but for a lot of you, a gift with a card. Next, we're going to look at work, Pisces. Work. Okay, so it looks like you're really in your groove whenever it comes to work. You're doing something that really kind of fits you as a person. And it looks like what you're doing is you're bringing something back into focus that maybe you haven't been working on for a while. You're taking that off the back burner, putting it back up on the front burner. And I think that this very much has to do with the idea of reflection and with the idea of bringing the truth out in some cases. And in some cases, there's a little bit of weaving of the myth or the fairy tale. For some of you, maybe there's a book that you started writing, and maybe it was a children's book or it was a book about myth, and you're bringing that back out. That would be one way that this would manifest. But whatever it is that you're working on, it's something that you had put on the back burner before with intentions of bringing it back out later. Now you're bringing it back out to focus on it. It does have a lot to do with reflection and with this idea of illusion versus truth. All right. Next thing that we're looking at, Pisces, does talk to me about that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded as you go through this particular time frame. So it looks to me like you're doing something in a different location than what you used to do it. At least temporarily, if not for longer than, if not making a permanent move in whatever this is. And I think that you've done this to eliminate some kind of fighting or debating that has been going on so that you can really focus on the things that you actually want to focus on instead of putting all your energy towards that fight or that debate that was happening in the old location. Next thing we're looking at does talk to me about something that you stand for during this time frame, and then we're also going to see how that person that you've explained this or defended this to, how they see you after that conversation. So let's take a peek. What is it that you stand for? It looks like you feel like you got backed into a decision or a situation where you backed out of your word, or you let down on your word that you had given to somebody who was younger than you. Somebody who is actually very well grounded, and I'm hearing they are much older than their age. They're an old soul. And it looks like, you had promised somebody something or agreed to do something for somebody or with this person. And it looks like there's some reason why you feel like you had to make a decision to let that person down on that promise or that agreement. Now, I kind of feel like a lot of you, that the younger person is the one who asked you about this, and I think we're looking at how they feel about things after you've explained this situation to them. So they're feeling like this isn't over. They're definitely feeling like this isn't over, where they had thought that whatever this was that you were going to do for or with them was completed and just done. They could forget about it. Now they're feeling like it isn't over, that it's still going to happen again, or still going to happen in the future. And, I think that originally they had felt like they'd been left out in the cold. I think that this really hurt them originally. And I think this idea that, yes, we're still going to do it in the future is helping to relieve that. They're not feeling left out in the cold anymore. But I think that in their mind, you're sort of on probation. They're waiting to see, are you really going to come through on this now? Since you've already backed out of it once, are you really going to come through on it for them? So you're sort of on probation with them still until whatever this is that you told them you would do for or with them actually happens. They're just kind of waiting to see if you're going to be good with your word or not. All right, so the next thing that we're looking at, Pisces, does talk to me about your flex period. So we're going to take a peek at what it is here that changes your perspective during this time frame. Okay, so it looks like there was something that you were waiting for, and there was a decision that somebody was making that you were waiting to see what would be the outcome of that decision. And so I think that once that decision has been made, I think it's made in a way that is not really fair to you. But when it is made, it releases you to move forward because now you know, okay, what's happening. And I think that when you're moving forward, what's happening is that whatever it is that you were working on, whatever target or goal that you were trying to reach, and I don't feel like you were working on this alone. I feel like you were working on this with other people. So whatever target or goal you were trying to reach, I feel like that has been seriously impacted and slowed down by this decision that is unfair. I don't feel like you're not going to reach this target or goal. I just feel like it's going to take some more time because this is a serious obstacle that shows up here with that unfair decision that somebody made. I don't feel like this is a non-negotiable decision. I do feel like you'll be able to, do I want to say dispute? You'll be able to, I feel like you'll be able to reverse this decision, even if you have to kind of go up the chain of command to be able to do it. All right, so what else is going on while this is happening? I think that you are interacting with somebody during this time frame while you're waiting for this decision to come back and then dealing with the aftermath of that. I think that you're interacting with somebody who feels like they really don't have an answer, that they have a problem and they don't have an answer. Looks to me like they could be using you as a sounding board. And I think that they are falling, they have things that are falling through the cracks. They're not taking care of everything. They're not taking care of business like they normally would, because of this situation that they don't know what to do with. And I think they're coming to you to talk about this decision, and it looks to me like it just makes you feel good that they're coming to you. I think you're taking this as a compliment, that they're using you as a sounding board to try to figure out what they actually should be doing. Now, also going on at the same time, looks to me like there is something going on where you were in partnership with somebody. I think that this partnership is coming apart, whether it's coming apart because this is the end of the contract, or whether it's coming apart pre the end of the contract where somebody's just saying, you know what, I think we need to go our separate ways. When this happens, I honestly don't see you having a bad reaction to it. What I see you really focusing on your own self-sufficiency, your own self-care, getting your own ducks in a row and bringing in stability for yourself. So whatever this is, where you have somebody that says, you know what, I think that our partnership is over, I see that as working out really well for you, actually. Okay? And then where do we see you at the end of the month, Pisces? So once we get to the end of the month, it looks to me like there's something going on where your sense of security has sort of been turned upside down. It's been turned on its head, and you're thinking about security in a whole different way than what you thought of it before. And I think that at this point, you're letting somebody know what you think. You're definitely giving somebody a piece of your mind. And it has to do with this sense of security, the change in this sense of security. And I think that when that happens, what comes out of you giving somebody a piece of your mind is exactly the opposite of what you were hoping to manifest with this. So what I'm going to say, Pisces, is when you get into this time frame and you start to really feel like giving somebody a piece of your mind because they've messed with your sense of security, think twice about that. Step back and detach a little bit. Think about what is it that you're trying to accomplish, and does this seem like it would logically actually accomplish that, or is there a better way to accomplish what you want to? Make these cards not true. Don't manifest exactly the opposite of what you want. Make these cards not true so that you can put yourself into a better position at the end of the month. Okay? Thank you very much for being here, Pisces. I do know you have lots of different people that you could watch, and I appreciate that you watch me. Thank you also for the thumbs ups and for sharing this video around with others who it may be helpful to. And of course, thank you to those of you who are ordering private readings and Reiki sessions with me. It is because of all of your support that I'm able to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much. Everybody have a fantastic month. If I don't see you here for a private reading or a private Reiki session before then I'll see you all back on the next video. Peace out.